In the not-so-distant future, humanity had begun to expand its reach into neighboring solar systems. Despite its technological advancements, it still faced the reality of being viewed as an inferior species by many alien civilizations. Among these was the Dracuan, a formidable warrior race, known for their aggressive nature and a strict honor code that governed their interactions with other civilizations. Their belief in resolving disputes through decisive, all-out war made them one of the most feared empires in the galaxy. After years of observation, the Dracuan made their move, reaching out to Earth with a demand that would change everything. A transmission crackled through the airwaves, resonating with a tone of authority and disdain. The Dracuan envoy, a towering figure with luminescent scales and sharp, predatory features, delivered the ultimatum with a voice like thunder. They demanded that humanity either submit to their rule or prepare for war, a war to the death. The losing side would face annihilation, with their home world destroyed as a symbol of total victory. As the message echoed through every communication device on Earth, the world held its breath. Panic surged as people absorbed the gravity of the situation. The Dracuan viewed humans as weak and unworthy, a species clinging to existence in territories they deemed rightfully theirs. To them, the challenge was a mere formality, an exercise in demonstrating their superiority. Their contempt was palpable, and their expectations of human submission ran deep. In the heart of the United Nations headquarters, world leaders convened, the atmosphere thick with tension. A diverse group, representing the hopes and fears of humanity, gathered in an emergency meeting. The air crackled with uncertainty as they debated their options. Some leaders urged immediate surrender, believing it was the only logical choice in the face of such overwhelming power. The Dracuan had decades of military experience, a vast arsenal at their disposal, and a ruthless track record that left little room for doubt. Yet, amid the growing despair, voices of defiance began to emerge. A president, determined and resolute, stood up against the tide of fear. "If we surrender, we are sealing our own fate," they declared. "The Dracuan will not stop here. They will see us as nothing more than a stepping stone to their next conquest. We must fight, not just for our survival, but for our dignity as a species." The room erupted in a chorus of mixed reactions, but the spark of determination had been lit. As leaders argued, the shared history of humanity played in their minds, the countless struggles against overwhelming odds, the spirit that had defined their existence. After a heated debate, they made a unanimous decision: humanity would accept the challenge. This was a declaration of war, not just against the Dracuan, but against the idea of submission itself. In the days that followed, the urgency of the situation propelled humanity into a frenzy of preparation. Military forces mobilized, and scientists collaborated with private tech companies to develop innovative weaponry and tactics. The resources of Earth were pooled, the knowledge of countless civilizations coming together to face the looming threat. It was a race against time to turn fear into strength. As plans solidified, the world witnessed a transformation. In laboratories and war rooms, discussions turned into action. Engineers and military strategists worked tirelessly, brainstorming unconventional approaches to warfare. The idea of guerrilla tactics began to take shape. Humanity would not face the Dracuan head-on in a traditional battle. Instead, they would use their intelligence and creativity to outmaneuver their opponents. The focus shifted to developing advanced AI systems capable of hacking Dracuan technology, turning the very tools of war against their creators. As the sun set on Earth, lights flickered in countless cities, symbols of human resilience and unity. This was a moment of awakening, a reminder that humanity thrived in the face of adversity. Leaders rallied the population, urging them to stand firm against the impending threat. Messages of hope flooded the airwaves, underscoring the determination to fight for their future. Weeks passed, and as the Dracuan fleet made its way toward the solar system, humanity continued to prepare, driven by a fierce resolve. They crafted weapons, developed strategies, and built alliances. With each passing day, the collective spirit of humanity strengthened, forging a bond that transcended national borders. They were no longer just individual nations, they were united against a common foe, a singular force of resistance. The day finally arrived when the Dracune breached the outer edge of the solar system. Their massive ships, gleaming and menacing, cast shadows over Earth. As the fleets of alien warships entered the atmosphere, the reality of the challenge became undeniable. Humanity's heart raced with fear, but within that fear grew a fierce determination. The Dracune's transmission echoed through space once more, a reminder of their superiority and confidence. They called for humanity to submit or face the consequences. But as the message faded, humanity responded not with submission but with a battle cry, a resounding declaration that they would fight for their survival. As the Dracune prepared for what they believed would be an easy victory, humanity held its ground, ready to unleash the ingenuity and resilience that had always defined them. The stage was set for an unprecedented clash, one that would forever change the fate of both civilizations. The challenge had been accepted, and with it, humanity had begun its fight against extinction. In the wake of the Dracune ultimatum, the urgency to prepare for war consumed humanity. The world came together, driven by a singular purpose: survival. Every nation understood that failure to act would mean extinction. As the leaders convened once again, the discussions shifted from debate to decisive action. Plans were laid out, resources allocated, and the machinery of war began to turn. The military apparatus of Earth sprang into motion. Armed forces across the globe mobilized, forming a unified front that had never been seen before. Countries set aside their differences, recognizing that the only path to survival lay in cooperation. They pooled their resources, sharing intelligence and technology, each nation contributing its strengths to create a formidable collective defense. In underground bunkers and high-tech war rooms, generals and strategists mapped out their plans. They understood the Dracune's strengths and weaknesses, having studied their past encounters with other civilizations. The Dracune relied on traditional warfare, massive fleets, brute force, and an unwavering code of honor. However, this rigid structure also left them vulnerable to unconventional tactics. The human strategy became clear: outsmart and outmaneuver. Private tech companies joined the effort, pouring resources into the development of advanced weaponry. Engineers and scientists collaborated tirelessly, brainstorming innovative solutions that would tip the scales in humanity's favor. AI-driven drones became the cornerstone of their strategy, capable of executing complex maneuvers and adapting in real time to the battlefield's dynamics. The objective was to create an arsenal that combined the best of human ingenuity with cutting-edge technology. As the weeks progressed, the atmosphere was charged with determination. People around the globe worked long hours, driven by a sense of urgency that permeated every aspect of life. The focus was not just on the military. Civilians joined the effort in unexpected ways. Factories ramped up production, creating weapons and supplies needed for the impending conflict. Students studied engineering and computer science with renewed vigor, inspired by the necessity to contribute to the war effort. Humanity's resolve extended beyond technological advancements. Psychological warfare became a vital aspect of their strategy. They launched campaigns aimed at undermining the Dracune's confidence, spreading narratives that emphasized their vulnerabilities. Media outlets flooded with stories of human heroism and resilience, showcasing the ingenuity of the species. As morale soared, so did the conviction that they could triumph against overwhelming odds. In laboratories, groundbreaking research yielded promising results. Bioweapons were engineered with precision, designed to target the Dracune's biological weaknesses. Humanity tapped into its vast knowledge of genetics and pathogens, creating tools that could turn the tide of battle in their favor. The emphasis was on precision and strategy, rather than the sheer destruction the Dracune typically relied upon. As the deadline approached, a sense of urgency gripped the world. Earth's forces conducted training exercises, honing their skills for the confrontations ahead. Live simulations were carried out, allowing soldiers to adapt to the unpredictability of alien warfare. This focus on readiness extended beyond the military. Civilians were encouraged to participate in drills, fostering a sense of unity and preparedness. Amid the preparation, there were moments of introspection. Leaders reflected on the cost of war, the sacrifices that would inevitably come, and the responsibility they bore. They understood that the war would not only shape the future of humanity but would also alter the course of history. Conversations turned philosophical, questioning the morality of their actions and the impact of their decisions on generations to come. As the day of reckoning drew near, humanity's efforts crystallized into a singular mission. The plan was audacious: to lure the Dracuan into a trap, exploiting their arrogance and overconfidence. The Dracuan's reliance on brute force was seen as both a strength and a weakness. Humanity aimed to bait them into engaging in traditional combat, where they would use their ingenuity to strike when least expected. The final phase of preparation involved extensive coordination with every branch of the military. Commanders from various nations held joint briefings, ensuring that every soldier understood the strategy. The focus was on precision, communication, and the seamless execution of the plan. They knew that the key to success lay not just in technology but also in human adaptability. As the Dracuan fleet approached Earth, anticipation filled the air. Humanity had transformed its fear into a weapon of its own. The countdown to battle had begun, and with it, the realization that they were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting to define their existence. The spirit of resilience surged within every human being, a collective determination that would guide them through the trials ahead. On the eve of battle, a sense of camaraderie enveloped the forces gathered. Soldiers from diverse backgrounds exchanged stories and shared hopes, solidifying the bond that had formed in the face of adversity. They were no longer just representatives of their nations. They were members of a global coalition, united by a common purpose. With the dawn of battle looming, humanity stood ready. The culmination of their efforts was about to be put to the test. As the Dracuan prepared to unleash their wrath, the humans would stand firm, equipped not just with weapons but with a relentless spirit. They were prepared to meet the challenge head-on, armed with the knowledge that they would fight not just for their survival but for the very essence of what it meant to be human. The moment of confrontation had arrived, and the Dracuan fleet breached the outer edge of the solar system. Massive ships, adorned with intimidating insignia and glistening metallic surfaces, loomed in space, casting shadows over Earth. Their presence alone sent shockwaves through humanity, but the resolve to fight had crystallized during the preparation phase. As the alien armada advanced, the human forces were poised for action, ready to unleash their strategy. The Dracuan expected an easy victory. Their commanders, steeped in tradition and overconfidence, believed they would easily crush the inferior humans. They transmitted a message to Earth, filled with derision, challenging humanity to surrender or face annihilation. But instead of fear, their words ignited a fire within the hearts of Earth's defenders. The humans would not bend or break. They would respond with determination and ingenuity. As the fleets prepared for battle, Earth's military initiated their plan. AI-driven drones, designed for agility and precision, took to the skies. Each drone was equipped with advanced technology that allowed it to evade detection and respond dynamically to threats. The goal was to strike fast and hard, targeting key Dracuan assets and creating confusion within their ranks. This was not a battle of brute force, it was a battle of wits. The first skirmish erupted as the Dracuan launched an initial wave of assaults, expecting to dominate from the start. But humanity had anticipated this move. Swarms of drones swooped in, executing hit-and-run tactics that left the Dracuan reeling. The humans exploited their knowledge of the terrain and their superior maneuverability, weaving through the enemy formations with surprising effectiveness. The Dracuan found themselves disoriented, unable to adjust to the unpredictability of human warfare. As the fighting intensified, the humans deployed their biological weapons. A well-planned strike targeted a crucial Dracuan supply ship, unleashing a carefully engineered pathogen designed to disrupt their physiology. The result was chaos. Crews on the ship fell ill, rendering them ineffective in the battle. News of the successful strike spread through human ranks, boosting morale and proving that their strategy was working. The Dracuans' confidence began to waver as they realized they were not fighting a typical enemy. They were contending with a foe that could think and adapt. Meanwhile, the human ground forces executed their own coordinated maneuvers. Cities that had once been peaceful now became battlegrounds. Armed forces strategically positioned themselves to repel any Dracuan attempts to land. barricades were erected, and civilians were evacuated to safety. The unity of purpose was palpable. Everyone understood that they were fighting for their very existence. In space, the battle raged on. Earth's fleet, though smaller and less advanced, fought with unyielding resolve. They used their knowledge of the terrain, employing clever tactics to outmaneuver the Dracuan ships. Each human vessel operated as a cohesive unit, with crews trained to anticipate and respond to threats. The Dracuans' rigid hierarchy became a liability as they struggled to adapt to the fluid nature of human combat. As the days turned into weeks, the war took its toll on both sides. The Dracuan began to suffer significant losses, their ships damaged and their resources dwindling. Their commanders, once confident, grew increasingly frustrated as their forces struggled to maintain order. The once proud warriors found themselves ensnared in a conflict they had not anticipated, a war of attrition against a foe that refused to back down. In a desperate attempt to regain control, the Dracuan launched a full-scale assault on a major human stronghold. They believed that a decisive strike could turn the tide of battle in their favor. However, humanity was ready. The defenses had been fortified, and the traps laid in preparation for this very moment were set to spring. As the Dracuan forces advanced, they were met with a barrage of fire from ground troops and aerial drones. The battle was fierce and chaotic, but the humans fought with an intensity fueled by desperation. Every soldier understood the stakes, and they fought not just for themselves but for the future of their species. The Dracuan, accustomed to dominating their enemies, found themselves fighting a battle of attrition. Their losses mounted as the humans executed their strategies with precision. In a pivotal moment, a small human strike team infiltrated the Dracuan command ship during a critical engagement. Using advanced technology and stealth, they managed to breach the enemy's defenses, planting explosives at key points within the ship. As the command ship fell into disarray, confusion spread throughout the Dracuan ranks. The once unshakable confidence of their leaders crumbled under the pressure of unexpected tactics. Amidst the chaos, a pivotal victory emerged for humanity. The humans had managed to strike a critical blow, and news of their success ignited a renewed sense of hope across Earth. The realization that they could stand against the Dracuan and inflict real damage began to spread like wildfire. Civilians and soldiers alike rallied together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the Dracuan reeled from their losses, the humans pressed their advantage. They seized control of key strategic locations, pushing the alien forces further back. The tide of battle had shifted, and the Dracuans' once imposing presence began to fade. Yet, even in their desperation, the Dracuan were not defeated. They regrouped, determined to fight to the last, upholding their code of honor even as defeat loomed. The battles continued to rage on, but humanity's spirit remained unbroken. With each confrontation, they learned and adapted, refusing to be outmatched. The Dracuan had underestimated their resolve, believing them to be weak and unworthy. Instead, they found a foe that would not yield, a species that would fight to the bitter end to defend its existence. As the conflict dragged on, both sides recognized that the war was far from over. The struggle for survival had become a battle of wills, and the outcome was uncertain. Yet, as humanity faced the Dracuan, they stood united, armed not only with weapons but with the unyielding determination to reclaim their future. The stage was set for an epic showdown that would decide the fate of both civilizations. The final campaign was upon humanity, a culmination of their efforts, sacrifices, and the lessons learned from relentless warfare. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as the Dracuan prepared for one last push, convinced that their might would ultimately prevail. They amassed their forces, determined to crush the humans once and for all. However, unbeknownst to them, humanity had also been quietly strategizing, readying their ultimate weapon, a groundbreaking bioweapon specifically designed to target the Dracuan's genetic vulnerabilities. As the last battle approached, human forces gathered in a fortified location on the outskirts of a major city. Commanders reviewed the final plans, emphasizing the importance of coordination and timing. The stakes had never been higher. Soldiers prepared themselves mentally and physically, knowing they were on the brink of either annihilation or triumph. The atmosphere was thick with tension, but there was also a palpable sense of unity and purpose. Every soldier understood the significance of this moment. They were fighting not just for survival but for the very essence of what it meant to be human. The day of the confrontation arrived, and the two armies met on the battlefield with an intensity that shook the very ground beneath them. The Drakyun, relying on their traditional tactics, surged forward in a coordinated attack, their ships slicing through the atmosphere like meteors. They believed that sheer force would break the human will. But as they advanced, the humans executed their plan flawlessly. The bioweapon was deployed, targeting key areas within the Drakyun fleet. As the payload detonated, chaos erupted within the Drakyun ranks. The genetically engineered pathogens spread rapidly, causing their systems to malfunction and their soldiers to falter. The alien warriors, once brimming with confidence, found themselves gripped by confusion and fear. The humans seized the moment, launching a counteroffensive that struck at the heart of the Drakyun command structure. The battle turned chaotic as human forces pressed forward, utilizing every ounce of training and ingenuity they had cultivated over the previous months. The streets erupted into fierce fighting, where human soldiers faced off against the once mighty Drakyun. In the midst of the melee, bravery emerged from unexpected places. Stories of valor and sacrifice circulated among the troops, inspiring them to fight harder. Heroes were born in those moments, individuals who would be remembered for their courage in the face of overwhelming odds. As the human forces advanced, they systematically dismantled the Drakyun's infrastructure. Command centers fell one by one, and communication lines were severed. The Drakyun struggled to maintain order, their rigid military hierarchy collapsing under the strain of the human onslaught. The battle became a desperate fight for survival on both sides, but the humans maintained their resolve, driven by the knowledge that they were fighting for their very existence. In a decisive moment, a group of elite human soldiers managed to infiltrate the central command ship of the Drakyun fleet. They executed a daring plan, planting explosives in critical locations while navigating the chaos around them. As they made their escape, they triggered the explosives, causing a catastrophic explosion that sent shockwaves through the Drakyun fleet. The explosion served as a beacon of hope for humanity, a signal that they could indeed strike a decisive blow. As the dust settled, the Drakyun began to realize the extent of their losses. The once mighty fleet was in disarray, their ships crippled and their morale shattered. The alien warriors, once sure of their victory, found themselves cornered, scrambling to regroup but failing to maintain any semblance of order. The humans pressed their advantage, relentless in their pursuit, capitalizing on every moment of weakness displayed by their adversaries. In a final desperate stand, the remaining Drakyun forces attempted to rally, but the resolve of humanity proved too strong. The tide of battle had turned, and the Drakyun could no longer ignore the reality before them. They had underestimated humanity's tenacity, believing that their honor and tradition would guarantee their victory. Instead, they were met with unyielding determination, innovation, and an adaptability they had not anticipated. As the sun set on the battlefield, the remnants of the Drakyun forces began to retreat, their once impregnable empire crumbling before their eyes. Humanity emerged from the chaos, battered but victorious. They had faced the unimaginable and had triumphed against a foe that had sought to obliterate them. The cost had been high, and the scars of war would linger, but they had proven their resilience. In the aftermath, Earth was left to heal, to rebuild, and to honor the sacrifices made. Memorials sprang up to commemorate those who had fought bravely, reminding future generations of the cost of their freedom. The war had changed humanity. They were no longer the timid species the Drakyun had deemed unworthy. They had faced their fears, stood together, and emerged as a united force. As the remaining Drakyun retreated into the depths of space, their once mighty empire lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the consequences of underestimating an opponent. Humanity had sent a clear message: they would not be easily subdued. The legacy of this war would serve as a guiding principle for future generations, a testament to the indomitable human spirit and the capacity to rise against all odds. The battle for survival was not just a physical conflict, it was a struggle for identity and existence. Humanity had proven that they would fight for their future, adapting to challenges with creativity and determination. They had turned a dire situation into an opportunity for growth, forging a path that would lead to new discoveries and alliances beyond the stars. In the end, the war against the Drakion had solidified humanity's place in the cosmos. They emerged not as the weak, inferior species the aliens had believed them to be, but as a formidable force capable of standing up to even the mightiest of adversaries. The lessons learned would shape the future, guiding humanity toward a new era of exploration, understanding, and the enduring belief that they could overcome any challenge that lay ahead.